Another thing that came up for me, and I wish I could remember who said this to me. I started viewing rejection, not as rejection, but redirection. I mean, that's something that I've always thought is it's not no, it's just not right. This isn't the right place for you. Yeah. But I also took it a step further. And what I love is that every missed opportunity that I feel I'm missing. So, and you can apply it to anything, job applications, getting the client. If someone chooses a different photographer than you, if I don't get an audition and somebody else does, or I don't get the part and somebody else does, what makes my heart feel good and what aligns with the person I am is I think, oh, the person who got that role, they needed it for their journey. The person who got that job, this is exactly what they needed.
Welcome to Coming Into Focus. I am your host, Helen Tansey. All right, Kate Drummond, you're here.
I'm here. Congratulations.
Okay. Well, thank you. It's my first episode, but thank you. Okay, but let's do this.
Okay.
So first of all, I'm very grateful that you are here. And I want to give like a little backstory to our listeners because I kind of feel like you are my muse. And when we first met, I reached out to you on Instagram and I asked you if I could photograph you because I had been following you. I felt like you were so authentic. You were going through the loss of Jackson at the time and you were just so beautiful and talented. And I reached out to you and you graciously said, yes, of course you could shoot me. And you walked in the studio and it was like, oh, we're back together. Like I felt like it was like from other lives or something. It was just like we were back together and that was it. Right. Yeah. And when I started, and I just feel like when I have creative ideas, I reach out to you and you're always like, yep, I'll, let you photograph me. When I wanted to create Sundari Women, I reached out to you and you were the first person that I photographed for that. And I told you it's going to be like no makeup. It's going to be really raw. And you were like, I'm in, and you were just there. And then even when I created this, when I sort of shared with you that I wanted to do this, I wanted you to be my first guest because I feel that, I just love you and you just bring such beauty to everything you do. And I thought, what a better way to launch this than having your beauty here.
Thank you.
You know what? I went before I started. I went and I ran. I grabbed some Kleenex. And I thought, oh my God, I bet we're gonna cry.
Warn me. You didn't warn me. I know. I feel the exact same way. I feel like, we often throw the word sister around, but it's not a word that I take lightly. And Zelda has joined the room. Oh, there's her butt. But at least she's quiet. But it was so interesting to me to meet someone like you who was so open and vulnerable. And, they always say we're as brave as the people we surround ourselves with. And I just loved that about you from day one. Like just this unapologetic acceptance of others and self. And it just kind of gave me permission to do the same, Yeah. That sound that you're hearing is Zelda grumbling. It sounds guttural. And I don't know why hey, I'm doing an interview right now.
Oh, hello, Z.
Yes.
It's a guttural thing of like water responding to.
Yeah, she's like, hey, no, that's enough. All done. I really hope she's not noisy.
Oh, it's okay. You know what? It's what life is, sister.
Life isn't perfect.
Life isn't perfect.
No.
So I thought we would start with, so one of the things that I want to do with this is that there are two questions that I want to ask every guest. So the first one will be this, and then the other one will be the end of the show. Are you okay? And if you're not, I totally get it because I know you're an actress and this industry age can sometimes affect things. Are you okay sharing your age? And if you're not, that's okay.
I'm going to be 50.
I know you're going to be 50 in a couple weeks.
I know. Actually, in 10 days.
in 10 days. How do you feel? How do you feel?
Weird. I feel like it's a naughty F word that I don't want to say, but because it just feels so foreign to me. It doesn't feel like anything. It feels like, I don't know. I don't feel age.
Right.
I don't feel numbers.
Yeah.
I did when I was approaching 40. And I think that's because I was, I always had these sort of standards that I set for myself, like by 40, I'm going to have this, 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 and this. Yeah. And the deadline was coming, and I felt more and more like I was missing the mark. And so 40 was a tough one for me. And then, I don't know, something happened in my 40s where I just started to fall into who I was, and, experiences in my 40s that were not easy, and taught me a lot about what I want to stand for and who I am as a person. And when I lay my head on my pillow at night, am I proud of the person I was during the day? And it's been a really difficult decade, for my heart, for, learning the lessons. But so approaching 50 feels like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like anything because my spirit feels so youthful and childlike. Like I just feel like a little imp, like a little, a little sprite. So it's just
I love that.
I don't know.
Love that.
Yeah.
And I do think it is a part of age too, that there is like these beautiful shifts that happen, and you get comfortable being uncomfortable also. Right. There's this acceptance, and there's this like, no, this is who I am. And it might not be pretty. It might not be perfect, but there's this acceptance of that.
And it's so interesting because I feel like constantly the universe is putting in my path things that I need to go through, learn, watch, observe, and it's fascinating because as I'm aging, I find myself in a role that I've been manifesting for a decade. I've wanted a series. I've wanted to be a lead of a series that has longevity, that I can carry a character's heart with me for many seasons. And if it happens to be with wonderful people and in outdoors and with animals and celebrating family and community and faith, then that is something I wanted. And I received it, out of the blue. Not that anything's really out of the blue. Yeah. My guides are like, wait till you see what we've got in store for you. Yes. However, you're not going to be the young, the young sort of whatever ingenue of the show. You're going to be the matriarch. And so it's interesting because this role has allowed me even more so to settle into my age. And, I check myself a lot because I'm surrounded by young, beautiful women. And I think, I'm not 25 anymore. I'm not 30 anymore. I'm not 35 anymore. And I'm not just getting married or deciding if I want to have kids, or I'm not in that phase of my life anymore. Yes. And there's a bit of a reflection that happens and an honoring of that stage of my life that I went through as best I could at the time. But an honoring of where I am now, and this sort of, it's almost like a weight, like as my body is changing and I'm not the athlete I was. I mean, I'm still strong. I can still sort of swing an axe, although not very well.
No, I saw you do that.
Yeah, no, missing the wood.
You look cute doing it, though.
Oh my gosh. But like, it's just interesting because it all comes back to this age thing of turning 50. And I just keep thinking, just allow yourself to age, allow yourself to be different than you were when you were 30 and 40, allow yourself to be this woman you are today in every little nook and cranny of your face and every insecurity in your body, every weird hormone fluctuation that takes you on a wild journey each day, like just allow it, because this is where your true self is. And this is where your best art will come from. Mm-hmm. And that for me is a challenge, because, you know, we always sort of want something different, and it's a comparative world, but I try really hard to just keep myself grounded in, okay, do I love this person when I put my head on my pillow at night? Am I proud of the person I was? Did I treat others well? And did I treat myself well? And did I take care of Zelda well? And if I didn't, then I try again the next day, and I try not to beat myself up. So that's a long answer for how I feel about turning 50.
That's okay. But, you know, I think it's also important when you said that you're working with younger people, because I have that in my work, and I have some friends that, you know, are my age, but, you know, two good friends of mine are like 30 and 35. And I remember hearing Jane Fonda talk about the importance of women, of friends, but also not just having friends that your age.
Right.
Have friends that are younger, have friends that are older.
Yeah.
And my younger friends bring a lot to me. Right. And sometimes I'm like, oh no, like sometimes there's a little bit of a mourning, because they're starting things that I've already done. And I'm like, oh yeah. And I do miss it. Like there are elements of being youthful that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like but that's not me anymore. And it's almost like a mourning in a way, but not in a bad way. It's just like, okay, you know, I did have that, but it's time to go into something else. So
it's that reflection, right? It's that just the reflecting of that past.
Well, it's like, you know, when you go to an area, like, because I know you're from Ottawa, like even if you were to go to Ottawa and drive around your own neighborhood, it's your old neighborhood, but it's changed. It's like, oh, that house wasn't there before.
Right.
That store was never there. And it's kind of like a bit haunting in a way.
Yeah. Everything's evolved around us.
Yes. Yeah. So I want to talk about Ottawa, because that's sort of where you began, right? That's where you began with your acting career. When you were a teacher, I would love for you to share that story, because it's such a beautiful story.
Okay. So, growing up, long story short, I moved around a lot as a kid. And so I was always sort of the newcomer in a class. So I went to like 8 or 9 different schools before I graduated high school. And so I was always sort of the new kid, and that's always really difficult. And, you never really know where you're fitting in. And if you're going to new cities, then, you know, what's cool in one city isn't cool in the other city, and you don't know, and you're getting caught up, and you're just trying to like survive. Right. And so my parents threw me into sports, because I had a lot of pent up energy, a lot of anxiety as a kid. And I was always so artistic, very creative, and putting on plays and writing stories and stuff. But I never really had a place to put that creativity. So fast forward to university, I continued to play sports. I excelled in my athletic life. And then it naturally just took me through to teaching. And so as a teacher, I moved to Ottawa for Teachers College. And I taught for 12 years in Ottawa. And while I was in Ottawa, my life started to, I started to check off the boxes. So, you know, you get to a certain age, you get engaged. You get to a certain age, you get married. You're supposed to have this, you're supposed to have that, you're supposed to have everything. And I started to check off those boxes. And what led me into my teaching career and my life in Ottawa and getting married to a wonderful person, it just, I wasn't the version of myself that I knew I was destined to be. I was trying to be something that I thought I was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So in essence, it was unfair to the person that I married, because he married a version of me. And I knew that there was a lot in his life he needed to accomplish that he wouldn't do with me, and vice versa. And so as painful as that experience was, it was part of me finding the arts and finding acting.
Right.
So when you realize that you are living a bit of a lie, and I don't mean like a lie and like deception, but when you realize that you're not feeling fully authentic, it's really difficult to unsee that. And so I remember, going through the breakup of the relationship and just the incredible sadness of, what is it that I'm missing? Like, I have everything I should want, but why am I so sad? And the first thing that came to me is acting, your arts, get into the arts. And I had been using drama in my classroom with my students and things like that. So anyways, fast forward, I'm 30 at this point. I take my first acting class. I'm terrified. My voice is 2 octaves higher. And I started acting, and where I was experiencing so much loss in my life personally, I was also finding so much expansion in self, because I was learning who this woman was through the arts. And so I fell in love with acting. So I would teach during the day and I would act at night. I would do community theater, or I was taking a lot of classes, and my students knew that I was acting. So I would share the journey with my students. I was teaching little kids. And I would share it with them. And, I would get the occasional audition on a lunch hour. And I'd say, boys and girls, I'm going for an audition. So I'll see you after lunch, after French class or whatever. And they're like, good luck, Miss D, good luck. And so I'd come back and they're like, Miss D, did you win? I'm like, my boys and girls, I was so nervous. I forgot my lines. I got sick in my belly. And I started using my acting experience, my journey, as a teaching tool for them.
Yeah.
And it was really, really cool to have that support and love from them, and to be able to be sort of a role model. And then 5 years later, after starting to act, I had started acting in more things. And it was really becoming something different for me. It was becoming more of a calling versus something I just wanted to do. It felt more like a responsibility versus just, hey, I want to try this thing. I don't know. It felt deeper than it had started out to be, if that makes any sense. And so I was teaching my students at the time about Martin Luther King Jr., and his I Have a Dream speech. And we were talking about our dreams. And one of my students asked me what my dream was. And I said, well, besides teaching you, my dream is to be an actor, an actress. And she said, well, why aren't you doing it? And it just stopped me in my tracks, because I was 12 years into teaching. I was teaching kids that were from such diverse backgrounds. And I'm teaching them this thing of like, be brave, do this, love out, try things, just because this is all you know does not mean this is all there is for you. And I was saying these things and hearing them at the same time for myself. And that little voice was just sort of the thing I needed to set my career off in a different path. So I took a leave from teaching, took a year, rented out my house, packed up my old dog, Jackson, and moved to Toronto, outside of Toronto, and showed up in Toronto and had a lot of pushback when I arrived, being told I was too old, and literally had an agent say I was too old to dream of being a movie star, and told me to stick to teaching. And I had someone in an audition waiting room tell me I wasn't physically built for television, that I should go back to teaching. And the athlete inside of me, the stubborn, driven artist inside of me was like, I don't know. So every time I went to go back to teaching, I would book something that kept me in Toronto. And so fast forward, that was like 15 years ago.
Do you ever feel like it was like a bit of divine intervention?
Every time I think about it.
Yeah, I do too. And I remember I love that story. And I feel like that little girl was like a little angel for you, delivering a message. And just the timing, you were ready for it, right?
I was ready.
And I think the thing is that differentiates it with you is that a lot of people feel these things, but they go like, oh no. And, whether it be messages from, their parents or their childhood, or like, that's not a real job, especially the arts. Like, I feel like the arts are so undervalued,
Absolutely.
but yet it's the thing, like, what do we do when we get in the car? We turn on the radio, we listen to podcasts, we watch TV, we read books, we go to theater. Like, it's like the arts are what we do all the time, but it's so undervalued, so you getting into a field and like you were saying, even at, your age, which was considered old, but that you did it, that you followed that spark and you were like, no, I'm going to do this. And it's inspiring. Like, I meet actresses that come in and they know that you and I are friends and they're just like, oh my God, I love her. And it's like, she inspires me. I had one woman who came in who was a teacher and she said, when I hear Kate's story, like, I'm a teacher and I'm going to be an actress. And even, when you're saying about getting older also, like, it's a hard business. I mean, I think it's hard getting older as women, no matter what field that you are in, but especially in this field. And you doing this is, you and I talk about often, when you feel those nudges or sparks. Yeah. And it's your responsibility, I think, to step up and follow through. And when you do, you are leading a pathway for people behind you too, to know like, yes, that is possible.
Right. I mean, thank you for saying that. I look back at that woman who was 35 and brave and had nothing to lose. Yeah. And I think that I'm often in awe, to be honest. I often think, I can't believe I was that brave. Like, I love teaching. I love teaching. I mean, I walked away from a city where all my friends were and my life was, and I moved to a city where I knew nobody. And it's interesting. I guess I'm at this stage too, where when I say I look at women who are in younger generations, younger decades than me, and I'm reflective, I can't help but to look back and think, like, who did I have in my life that was supporting me through that? And it was women.
Yes.
My friend Kelly, I remember saying to her that I was going to take a leave to try acting. And Kelly is one of my closest longtime friends and is a rock in my life. Like, just, I went for lunch with her and I said, what do I do? And she says, you do it. And if you decide that you hate it in 3 months and you want to come back to Ottawa, you'll live with us.
Aww.
And you'll stay with us. And Jackson is welcome. And she said, you've got nothing to lose and you've got a safety net here in us. And that little bit of courage, that little bit of nudge gave me that extra bit of bravery. So I didn't do it alone. I did it alone personally, in terms of, I didn't have a partner. I didn't have kids. I had me with Jackson. Yeah. And, it's why I wear his heart around, like my J with my little heart. I wear it all the time. And it's, he's part of my journey, and, was at times my only friend, in my close proximity. So it's not easy. Here's the thing. It's not easy to jump lanes, and it's not easy to follow that nudge. It's scary as anything, but if you don't at least peek through that curtain, I feel like that's where regrets come.
Yes.
And we're so blessed to be where we are because we have the freedom of choice.
So what does it feel like now? Like, what does it feel like all these years later, and that, you do have this series, you have your home, you have Zelda, and what does it feel like that you have followed your dream. You've been in alignment. You're somebody who's very soulful and is in alignment with your soul. And where you are now, like, what does it feel like?
It feels like pride. I'm proud.
Yeah.
I'm proud of myself.
Good.
It feels like strength. It feels like determination. I'm happy.
Yeah. Does it feel like coming home? Like, is it a calmness in it too? Like, does it feel like this is where I'm meant to be? Like, this is my, yeah.
Yes, it does.
But it's not because I know you so well, and I've seen when you have auditioned for things and they don't pan out. I've seen, I've seen the other side of it where it isn't always pretty and it's hard. And I think that being an artist, again, it is so hard. What do you do during those times? Like, if somebody is listening to this and like, well, that's great, you're here now, but what sort of wisdom would you like to share for people that, whether it be acting or anything, that are transitioning and following their dream and they're not quite there yet, but they're still pursuing it?
I think I would say that the reminder is there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to get to. Like, you're never there.
Yeah.
It's not like because I have a series that I've reached the summit.
That you've arrived.
I haven't arrived. Yeah. I'm just at a new path that is now going to teach me new things. And everything is ever changing. I mean, the series I'm on now may not happen next year or the year after or the year after. I don't know what the future is in this moment. I think my advice would be, whatever you can do to stay present in today and choose something that aligns with growth in whatever passion that you're pursuing. Find something each day to feed that, without the need for someone to validate you and say, oh, if you're constantly looking for someone to say, yes, you are doing the right thing, you won't get it. It will never come to you in any form of true authenticity unless it comes from yourself.
Yes. And
you have to know in yourself that you are worthy of it. And for me, that was, I think, the biggest challenge was, do I deserve to be successful in a career that I started late, and I didn't go to theater school, and I didn't study theater in high school, and I don't come from the background of the arts. Do I deserve success? And then and that's why it becomes a self-awareness practice. I feel like in the arts, yes, there's the business side of it. There's also the diligence side of it that, musicians don't just keep their guitars on the wall and then they're like, oh, I've got a gig coming up, better start practicing. Like, they practice every day.
Yes.
And the arts are no different. Writers write, actors act. And just because you're not on a show or just because you're not booking doesn't mean you're not having the opportunity to observe humanity around you and observe yourself. Oh, I got some. Did I do that?
I don't know.
I think I thumbs down to myself.
Okay.
But it would just be, I think that's one thing that I don't even remember who said it to me, but they said, you'll never arrive. So just love, just love what you do. And if you don't, or you're in it for the wrong reasons, then you will constantly come up against obstacles.
Yeah.
You will always have something to complain about.
Well, it makes me think of, first of all, thank God we don't arrive.
Thank God.
And it's right that we get to keep going. We can especially as we're getting older. Like I love, like I'm 60 starting doing this. It's like, why not? Right. There's this thing of right. Like we just, I feel as women, we finally find our voice and our confidence.
Yeah.
And then we're told like, oh, we don't want to see you. We don't want to hear from you. And it's like, no, you're going to hear from me and you're going to see me,
Yeah.
So I love that, that you're doing this. But also when you were speaking about, do you belong here? And I find for me, when I go through challenging times, the thing that comes up for me is always like, I'm not enough.
Yeah.
Right. What is it that comes up for you? And I feel like sometimes when it comes up, I'm like, oh, fuck, here it is again. Like I have to, right. And sometimes I'm able to sort of work through it quickly. Sometimes it can linger, but what is that for you? That sort of on repeat that sort of shows its head when you're struggling?
It's the, do I deserve to be happy? Like there's a part of me that always feels like I've done something wrong.
Yes.
And that I need to apologize to somebody for something.
Yes.
And, apologize for success, apologize for not having success, apologize for being busy, apologize for not being busy enough, apologize. Like I feel, and I'm working really hard on that. That comes up for me. Also the feeling of being unlovable comes up.
Which is so crazy to me because you're the most lovable person.
It's just, it literally comes from a lifetime of feeling like you don't fit in.
Yeah.
And that it's only in the last decade where I've truly found, I would even say in the last 3 or 4 years, solidly found my sisterhood.
Yeah.
And it's because I lost contact with them for quite some time. Like I was very insulated for much of my 40s, and whether it was self-serving, like self-inducing or not, I just felt like I didn't have a strong community of women around me. And, that helps. It helps now with those feelings of like, feeling like you don't fit in or whatever. Like it's just, it's a reprogramming of a childhood that I bounced around so much. And I was really badly bullied as well through school. So, I'm a very sensitive person. Mm-hmm. I take things very, very, I try not deeply. I feel deeply. I am working very hard to not take things personally. Because I also am very aware and honoring the fact that other people have their own experiences and interpretations of this world. And at times it's going to make it feel like it's about me when it's not. And so that's something I'm working on. But yeah, that's a tough reprogramming. And then especially in this business, because, I will do dozens of auditions. And I will pour my heart and my soul and my time into them.
Yeah.
And I won't hear anything. I won't even get a good, my agent is lovely and my agent will say, I love this. This is so good. You're awesome. But if you don't book it, you're just when I started acting, all of those hurt.
Yes.
I cried a lot. Yeah. In my late 30s, like, why doesn't anyone want to cast me? Well, it wasn't time. Yeah. Wasn't time. And now I know it, having been on the side of casting, it's not personal.
No.
It's just, you have to have faith in something bigger than yourself. Always. In knowing that you are being guided and led to the experiences that you need to have. You're led to meet and be close to the people that you're meant to, whether they're good for you, bad for you, or indifferent.
Yeah.
You're being led to hear things. You're being led to see things that are all part of your growth. And I've just started to look at it that way. Another thing that came up for me And I wish I could remember who said this to me. I started viewing rejection not as rejection, but redirection. I mean, that's something that I've always thought is it's not no, it's just not right. This isn't the right place for you. Yeah. But I also took it a step further. And what I love is that every missed opportunity that I feel I'm missing. So, and you can apply it to anything, job applications, getting the client, being, if someone chooses a different photographer than you, every time, if I don't get an audition and somebody else does, or I don't get the part and somebody else does, what makes my heart feel good and what aligns with the person I am is I think, oh, the person who got that role, they needed it for their journey. The person who got that job, this is exactly what they needed.
Yes.
And then that brings up in me the compassion that's very strong in me and the empathy that's very strong in me. And then I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, good. Someone else is getting a win and they needed it. Maybe they were on the verge of quitting. Maybe, who knows? Yeah. You know, maybe we don't know anybody else's journey. And I find that that's really helped with the perception and the dealing with the harshness of the business, so to speak, is to just keep it grounded in love.
And it's also a new way of looking at it, because I think that we come from a time where if somebody gets something, it's like we try to tear them down. Yeah. Right.
It's so unfortunate.
It's so unfortunate. And, you know, instead of sort of seeing them as visionaries, instead of seeing them as like, wow, they got that. So it is possible.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like it's changing the narrative, and not only for you, but for them. I mean, you know, if you get a job, you don't want people being like, oh, she got it because of that. They want them to go like, good for her. Yeah. I'm so glad that she got that, right? Like what we put out there energetically, it also is how it affects us. And I think what you're saying, when you come from love, it's so expansive.
It is. And I think
and those little like creepy feelings that come, and it's okay if you feel like a little jealous, it's okay but when you sort of choose love for it, you just feel that all dissipate.
Yeah. Because you know, you're taken care of.
Yeah.
I mean, if you work from a place of truth, it's funny. When I first started acting, I would send thank you cards to every casting director every time I got an audition. Like it became kind of too much. I think at one point, like people were like, okay, you're killing a forest. It's not necessary. And then I would bake cookies. When I lived in Toronto, I would bake cookies at Christmas and take them around. Yeah. And someone said, I can't believe you do that. And then I remember asking, it might've been even asking my mom and saying like, is this kind of silly that I'm doing this?
No.
And she said, Kate, if it's coming from your heart, if it's coming from a place of honest intention, then it's always the right thing. And I just try to lead with that. Like, you know, is it coming from a place where I'm proud of the person that goes to sleep at night?
So do you believe though, because I think that who we are in everything that we do. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't believe that you can go to work and be horrible in work and then come home and expect to be a loving parent or spouse right. And one of the things with you is I find that you have this connection to Mother Earth, right? You honor her. You have it with your care for animals, with the charity work that you do, with spending hours putting bird seed on your hand so that birds will trust you and come and land, you know, on your hand, and environmental, like it's in everything that you do. Right. But I love that you also draw from Mother Earth, that you draw from her wisdom, and that you take care of her. Can you talk a little bit about where that came from for you?
That's a really interesting question. Yeah. I think I've always been, since I was a little girl, very connected to the earth and to animals. Mm-hmm. At times they were my only friends.
Yeah.
You know, I would spend hours alone outside and talking to the trees and saving bugs. And I mean, I am an empath. I grew up that way. I didn't understand what it meant when I was growing up. I just knew that when others hurt, I did too. And I didn't understand why, because I had nothing to do with me. And I have just always felt this, this beautiful tethering to all things nature. Yeah. I don't know. It just feels like it's right. I think it's right from childhood. I really do. And, you know, I grew up in a family where we always had animals.
Yeah.
We always had rescues. And so I learned about that caretaking and, I think that I don't know, but
I wonder, cause I'm the same as you, where we moved around a lot too, but I think I didn't have many friends growing up, and I was often the same as you. Like I would go in the backyard and I would look up at the sky and I'd talk to it.
Yeah.
You know, or I would talk to when the wind blew, I'd be like, it's giving me messages. Like I just felt this, like, you're right. Like it was my friend, you know, and it was like sort of my place. And it was my place where it's like my imagination could go wild and I could think that I was flying, or I could, you know, there was something so magical about it.
Yeah.
And it does. Like, I like what you said, actually, it did. It's like it became your friend.
Yeah. And it's interesting because when all else fails, Mother Earth never does.
No.
Like you always have the ability to go out and look at the sky.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like I'm known to hug trees randomly as I'm walking Zelda. Like it's, you know, I have such a profound respect and adoration of this planet.
Yeah.
And then learning to sort of listen more. Like, you know, I don't think I was aware enough as a kid to think that anybody was giving me a message. I just was so lonely. I wanted friends everywhere. So the tree was my friend, and this was my friend, and the bee was my friend. Like everyone was my friend. But now, I think especially this last decade has forced me to become more still and to allow myself the quiet times to hear messages.
Yeah.
And you've been a huge part of that for me.
Thanks.
You have. You've been a big part of that for me, teaching me about stillness. And, you know, now my yoga practice and my quiet time in the morning is non-negotiable. Like it's just, I can't not do it. And if I don't do it for a certain day, you know, I've got a 4:30 a.m. call time or whatever, I feel it.
Yeah, I know.
So it's just, you know, I feel it, but I think I feel like there's this theme in life. Like I feel like someone says to me, what do you do when you're not working, when you're not acting and nothing's going your way and you're like about to give up? And I say, volunteer.
Yeah.
Go volunteer, do charity work.
Yeah.
Make it about someone else, serve others. Yeah. When you are of service to others and when you are loving out and when you are listening to the wind, when you are, you know, when you are doing all of that and you're not making it about yourself, you're not, but you're looking out and you're planting on the earth. You're sharing the same land with people on the other side of the planet. How can you not feel the energy and feel that what you put through your body into the earth is affecting other people on the planet?
Yeah.
Whether you're in the same city or not, or the same country or not. And I mean, that's my belief system. And I feel like when you get trapped in ourselves of like, no one loves me, or I'm being rejected, or I'm this, or I'm that, I'm going to quit, or why is someone else getting all the roles, or why is this? It's like, go serve others.
Yeah.
Just make it about somebody else.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I had an epiphany that I shared with you a couple of weeks ago, where, as you know, I was sort of going through one of those dark nights of the soul, and I stayed in it. right? Like where I sometimes go into that, okay, how can I fix this? What can I do? And a couple of things I realize is that when I do that, it's like you put blinders on because you're only seeing it through your prism. So just sort of opening it up and surrendering and just sort of staying in it. And when you're talking about slowness, it's like going for walks with Benny down by the lake and just connecting to nature. Not that Benny is slow, but he teaches me patience. And then I was walking and I was talking to my husband and I was sort of sharing what, I was feeling and thinking. And all of a sudden it was like, this is just life. I'm creating the narrative around this. I'm the one who's creating this story that I'm not enough or not worthy or that the industry is all these sorts of things. And it was like, and I remember I just stopped and I looked at him like, it's me. And he just sort of nodded and it was just, and we always know that we say it, but it actually, I felt it. Mm-hmm. And it was like my turning point where all of a sudden I'm going to change this narrative and I have the power to do that. And it's hard because we're deleting old ways of thinking, that we've carried with us and we carry it on, like Carolyn Mee says, like we carry it on a cellular level, right? Yeah. So that's why that stillness, that crying and that feeling it is because it's getting that new messaging deep within us instead of just like reading it in a book and having it on a bumper sticker. It's like we need to reprogram that messaging on, a cellular level, which it takes time to do.
Yeah. And I love that because I think that's the hardest part of our journey is the most simple, which is just allowing.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, I love that practice of seeing yourself as a little girl in a chair across from you and telling her all the things you want to say. Yeah. Like, I am so proud of you for how you handled moving around so much. And I am so proud of you for your loving heart. And when it's so easy to get into that place of the darkness, I mean, I do as well. And it's tough. It's really tough to get out, but that everything is ever changing.
Yeah.
Nothing is permanent. And
even with you, when you say, when you're telling your story of what it was like growing up, like I often think, and I think I said this to you once, if you were looking at your life on the movie screen, like if you were watching Kate Drummond on the movie screen, you would be going like, oh my God, I love her. I want to be her. Do you know, like, when we watched Julia Roberts, where I was like, oh, I love her. Like, I love her. And I love her so much. And that's for me, like sometimes I just go, if I was watching this situation on a movie screen, I would be like, don't you give up. Like you're almost there, right? I would be cheering myself on and going like, I want to be her when I grow up.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like taking that step away. And I also think that what you sort of circling back to what you said, and I'm going to get teary eyed, is that the women, and you, going through what I have gone through and always knowing that you were there is just such a gift. And I hope that people have their person, because it makes such a difference. Yeah. Like the checking in, or like you and I have this thing, like as soon as I answer the phone, like, hey, you're like, what's wrong? I can tell with you too. Right. And it's like, but it really is when you have those connections with women, it's just at a whole other level. It's spiritual.
It really is. Yeah. If we allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Right.
Yes.
And I feel like, we've been, I was in an acting class for a long time and the women would always seem to be pitted against each other.
Which is so silly.
And it was so uncomfortable and I couldn't understand it. It didn't feel right. And I feel like only in this last bit of time, it's like, okay, like in the last decade, it's like, oh, okay, there is no, we don't compete with women. We support, we love, we share. And the more we share, the more we realize we're not alone. And the more that we realize that other people are going through the same thing. And you don't feel so much of a misfit when you,
yeah,
and I value you so much for being so instrumental in this part of my life, because it takes courage to say, hey, I don't have it all figured out. It takes courage to say, I'm feeling like I'm this, or I'm not that, or I'm to this, or I'm to that, or I'm sad for I feel sad for no reason, or I'm navigating the hormones of perimenopause.
Yeah.
Which is a whole other thing that women go through that makes you feel like an alien has taken over your freaking body, and you feel like everyone hates you for, 5-6 days of the week or of the month, and then all of a sudden you're like Superwoman. And then the next day you're feeling like you, what's the point of being here? I mean, like the hormones that we deal with at this stage of life are adding a whole other layer of things that challenge our groundedness, our spiritual faith, our connectedness to others.
Yeah.
It really does matter. It really does matter if you are isolating yourself, or if you have a community of good friends.
Yeah.
And
it's those Me Too. I always say this, it's those Me Too moments, right? Where it's like, if, first of all, when somebody calls me and asks me for help or is going through something, it's an honor that they trust me, that I can be there for them, and vice versa. If I were to say, Kate, I need you, like we need to be needed, and we need to need each other. Right.
Yeah.
We're humans.
Yeah.
But I also think too that, what you're saying is, when you say like, oh my God, I'm struggling with menopause or hot flash, or if I say I'm struggling with insecurities, it's like, oh, I know, me too. It's like, and you realize, okay, I'm not crazy.
No,
it's not just me. I'm not overly sensitive. I'm not, right. And I think that and that's why I want to do this, is because I really believe when we share our stories, it's like we create that community and we create that oneness, which I think, with AI and technology and everything, it's like that oneness is being lost.
It really is.
When we can bring it back, it's like, it's beautiful, it's magical, and it stays with. I mean, I listen to podcasts that I will send to you, right? And then they stay with me because it's like that beautiful wisdom, and I crave it. I want more of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. My last question of the two, I said the one at the beginning, because you know how fascinated I am with aging.
Yes.
And my other one is, I am fascinated with people's belief on death. What do you think happens when we leave this world?
I think we return to our purest form of love and energy. I feel like, it's a version of heaven, but I think heaven in my mind is the return to our absolute essence of love and all being and part of universe. I feel like, we return to that beautiful light from which we came.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I also feel like, gosh, there's so much about it that we don't know, but I feel like I've had so many experiences where people and pets who have passed I've had visits with them, and my grandmother, who I was very, very close with, after she passed away, visited me in a dream, and we walked on a beach, and she shared all these things with me that I have no business knowing. And it was like we truly were walking on a beach. And I believe that to be an experience that I had.
Yeah.
And so I believe that when we return to that purest light and purest form of love, that we have the ability to transcend planes. And, you know, I just, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I don't know what it is exactly, but I don't think it's over.
No,
I think it's just beginning, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also think too, because I do practice Buddhism, and we talk a lot about reincarnation, and I do believe that too. Like even like you and I meeting, or people that I have in my life, or just you meet people and you're like, whoa, like there's just this knowing.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know, but I'm with you on that. I think it is a returning.
Yeah. I feel like there's I feel like I have these experiences in my body and in my heart that are, for instance, I have always felt like I have been a mother, and yet I don't have any children. Like I feel maternal. I feel like this soul has been a mother. And whether that is my interpretation, my soul's interpretation of being a caretaker my whole life of my family and my partners and my animals, maybe, but it feels deeper than that. It feels like perhaps in another lifetime I was.
Or as you're saying that, what I'm thinking is that maternal instinct or that maternal feeling we associate with having kids, right? In another dimension or another way, it could be something completely different.
Absolutely.
I'm taught that maternal is for women and for children, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
So who knows?
I have this memory though. Like I have this like cellular memory of being a mother.
Oh, I love that.
So whatever that means, I'm not sure. Yeah. But I know that it's part of me. I mean, I'm a very nurturing person. I love kids. I love people for the most part. I don't love all people. No. But you know what I mean? Like it just feels so, I feel like I'm in awe. I'm in awe of what's
I'm in awe of you.
Oh my gosh.
I do. You know how much I love you. So
I love you too.
You're turning 50. Okay. So where do you see yourself? Where would you like to see yourself in the next, let's say 2 years?
2 years.
Yeah. Because I always find like 5-10 years, I'm like, I'm patient. I don't want to wait that long. So let's say 2 years. Like, where would you, like, if you could say, okay, in 2 years, I'm going to be
doing exactly what I'm doing now.
Perfect answer. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And I love you.
I love you.
And I'm really, thank you, honestly. And you are such an inspiration to me. I am honestly blessed and fortunate that you are part of my life and that you live in my heart. And I love when I get little texts from you in the morning, like, are you up? Because you know I'm up.
Because you're up before the sun is up.
I know. And then I'm like, okay, you want to talk? And we get our tea and we FaceTime. We have our morning tea.
I know.
Yeah. But you are a beautiful human being. You are an incredible actress. I love that the light that you have gets to be shared on the screen, because I think it really does touch people. And just thank you for following your heart. Thank you for following your dream. And thank you for just always choosing love in everything you do. And I love you.
I love you. You're making me cry.
Oh, okay. I'm like the Barbara Walters of YouTube.
You are. And I'm so honored to be your first guest, and anyone who gets to spend time with you and talking about things like this, or, you know, anyone who gets to be a guest on your show is just, they will have a very, beautiful experience, because the thing about you is that you ask the questions bravely that allow us the forum to sort of share what's in our hearts. And we don't often get that, you know. We can unsolicitedly tell people what's in our hearts, but I mean, this is also a real gift for me to be here talking to you.
Thank you.
So,
okay. So how should I sign it off?
I don't know.
Okay. We got to come up with something.
Do you want to do like a
song?
a rapid, like, either or, like,
okay,
5
let's do a rapid fire. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do 5. Who would play you in a movie?
Julia Roberts.
I love that. Favorite line from a movie?
Pass.
No. Think. It's Julia Roberts. Where she goes into this door.
I was just going to say,
yes. Big mistake. Huge.
Big mistake.
Big mistake. Huge.
Big mistake. Huge.
Yeah. Say that to all the men who didn't work out with and all the people that didn't cast.
Big mistake.
Huge. Favorite junk food?
Popcorn.
Oh, do you put butter on it?
No.
Okay. Favorite self-care?
Oh, what happened?
I don't know. I think it's something to do with this.
Favorite self-care? Epsom salt bath with candles.
Okay. Perfect. Last one. If you were to say to somebody, read this book, it will change your life, or what would it be?
It would probably be The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackesy, which is right there on my shelf. It's my favorite.
I know you post little things with it. Yeah.
Either that or The Untethered Soul.
Oh yeah. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Miss Kate Drummond, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's been such a joy, and thanks everyone for sticking around. If you're still here,
exactly.
I don't know what accent I'm doing all of a sudden, but whatever.
I love you.
Love you,
thank
sister.
you from my heart. Okay.
Bye.